Good day and welcome to Alena Media TV. We are broadcasting from Toronto, Canada. I am Elsa Abraham, and in today's episode we are bringing you African news. Here is your headlines. US says Eritrean forces should leave Tigray immediately. Kenya won't withdraw KDF troops from Somalia. CS Juma. UN also says 8.3 million South Sudanese in need of humanitarian aid. Let's go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll get our news in details. Stay with us. Welcome back from that break. Now, our first story. The United States says all soldiers from Eritrea should leave Ethiopia's embattled Tigray region immediately. A State Department spokesperson in an email to the Associated Press late on Tuesday cited credible reports of looting, sexual violence, assault in refugee camps, and other human rights abuses. There is also evidence of Eritrean soldiers forcibly returning Eritrean refugees from Tigray to Eritrea, the spokesperson said. The statement reflects new pressure by the Biden administration on the government of Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country, with 114 million people and the anchor of the Horn of Africa, and other combatants as the deadly fighting in Tigray nears the 3-month mark. The AP this week cited witnesses who fled the Tigray region as saying Eritrean soldiers were looting, going house to house, killing young men, and even acting as local authorities. The Eritreans have been fighting on the side of Ethiopian forces as they pursue the fugitive leaders of the Tigray region, though Ethiopia's government has denied their presence. The U.S. stance has shifted dramatically from the early days of the conflict, when the Trump administration praised Eritrea for its restraint. The new U.S. statement calls for an independent and transparent investigation into alleged abuses. It remains unclear how many Eritrean soldiers are in Tigray, or precisely where it says. It was not immediately clear whether the U.S. has addressed its demand directly to Eritrean officials, and the office of Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed did not respond to questions. Witnesses have estimated that the Eritrean soldiers number in the thousands. Eritrean officials have not responded to questions by the media. The information minister for Eritrea, one of the world's most secretive countries, this week tweeted that the rabid formation campaign against Eritrea is on the rise again. The U.S. also seeks an immediate stop to fighting in Tigray and full, safe, and unhindered humanitarian access to the region, which remains largely cut off from the outside world, with Ethiopian forces often accompanying aid. We are gravely concerned by credible reports that hundreds of thousands of people may starve to death if urgent humanitarian assistance is not mobilized immediately, the statement says. The United Nations, in its latest humanitarian update, said it is receiving reports of rising hunger in Tigray and cited a dire lack of access to food since many farmers in the largely agricultural region missed the harvest because of the fighting, and as critical staff to scale up the humanitarian response can't access the region. Transport, electricity, banking, and other links have yet to be restored in much of the region, the UN said, and 78% of hospitals remained unfunctionable. The U.S. statement added that dialogue is essential between the government and Tigrayans. Ethiopia's government has rejected dialogue with the former Tigray leaders, seeing them as illegitimate, and has appointed an interim administration. The former Tigray leaders, in turn, objected to Ethiopia delaying a national election last year because of the COVID-19 pandemic and considered Abiy's mandate over. Moving on to our next story for today, UN says 8.3 million South Sudanese in need of humanitarian aid. The number of people in South Sudan in need of aid has jumped from 7.5 million last year to 8.3 million, UN humanitarians said on Tuesday. The landlocked country has a total population of just over 11 million. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, the OCHA, blames years of conflict, climate change, and now COVID-19 for the hike. Those in need include 310,000 refugees and asylum seekers. Conflict, insecurity, and natural disasters have displaced nearly 4 million people since 2013, the office said. Hunger is growing with more than 7.2 million people projected to be severely food insecure during 2021, it said in a release. Some communities face catastrophic levels of food insecurity. The already serious humanitarian situation has been compounded by severe flooding, affecting approximately 1 million people each year in 2019 and 2020. The South Sudanese people also continue to highly vulnerable to epidemic diseases due to low immunization coverage, a weak health system, and poor health hygiene and sanitation conditions. The COVID-19 pandemic has had a devastating and multi-phased socio-economic impact on people. The humanitarian office also said that among the difficulties they face are severe economic contractions, spikes in commodities prices, loss of livelihoods, particularly in urban areas, increased protection risk, and disrupted access to basic services. South Sudan, one of the world's youngest countries in the world, only became independent in 2011. Although it is rich in oil, it is among the poorer nations, ranking 157 out of 194 countries or territories in the International Monetary Fund's 2020 estimate of the World Economic Outlook. Now, in our last story for today, Kenya won't withdraw KDF troops from Somalia, CS Juma. Kenya Defense Forces, as the KDFS, deployed to Somalia under African Union mission in Somalia, AMISOM, will not be withdrawn before the matter is discussed and the resolution ratified by the UN Security Council, Defense CS Monica Juma has said. Juma on Tuesday maintained that it is not for Kenya to decide on withdrawal of the security troops, adding that AMISOM operations are ongoing because they are not defined by bilateral relations. The withdrawal is the mandate of the African Union, which is the authorizing agency. It is not us to decide when to get in or out, Juma told journalists at the British Army Training Unit in Kenya, Batuk. Juma said the joint partnership between the two forces created a platform for training and preparedness, adding that it is historical and which has valuable. The two noted that Kenyan troops have been in Somalia long enough and have learned a lot from terror groups such as Al-Shabaab and share the same with the British troops training in the country, who also in turn share their military experiences of their excursion in Afghanistan and Iraq. Putting that knowledge together and joint training personnel helps keep Kenyans safe when they are doing this job because the bombers are crafty, clever, and dangerous, said Wallace. Mr. Wallace added that despite the COVID-19 pandemic, the last troop of visiting troops from UK arrived on Sunday, noting that there are about 200 troops who are permanently based in Nanyuki. It's an exciting future we are holding, as well as we view Kenya as a standard barrier of top quality professionalism in its military in the region of shared values, and also that we have a shared enemy, the Al-Shabaab, who target Kenyans, tourists, and all the values we stand for, Wallace added. The Secretary of State added that now that both Kenya and the UK were both members of the United Nations Security Council, they would work closely to ensure that there was stability in the Horn of Africa and the entire East African region. This is where we end today's episode on African News. Make sure you like, share, comment. Let us know your thoughts on this particular episode. Thanks for watching.